Okay, we are going to reconvene the regular meeting of the Richmond Township Board for June 12, 2019. We are going to, it is 7:30, and when we went to recess, we were in the middle of our public comment. The second item that we have under that is the second public hearing for the fiscal year 1920 fire and EMS budget. I'd like to have a motion to have someone call that to order, please.
I'll make a motion to call the fiscal year 1920 fire and EMS public hearing to order.
Is there support?
Support.
Motion by LaFontaine, supported by Coleman, to call the FY 1920 fire and EMS public hearing to order at 7:31. As I said before, this is the second public hearing on our fire and EMS funds. We did have the first public hearing at the May 8th meeting. I did go over briefly what the numbers were. We have our EMS millage that does cover our portion of the EMS cost. We contract with our made-up township, the city of Memphis and the city of Richmond for fire protection. We have estimated costs from those items of $432,435. And our total millage rate for both of those is 2.98 mils. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and open public comment on these. If anyone has any comment on the millage or the budget as proposed, please come to the podium and state your name and address.
Can I say something? I don't feel like getting up. I enjoy EMS. They have good service. And they helped my wife survive this last one.
Thank you.
I really enjoyed them. They came to my house when I was better.
All right, thank you. If there's no other public comment, does the board have any discussion on the fire and EMS budget? No? Okay, hearing none, a motion will be in order to close the public hearing. Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to close.
Is there support?
Support.
Motion by Voss, supported by Cole, to close second public hearing on the FY 1920 fire and EMS budget. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
7:32. Motion is carried. Okay, now we have public comment for any items that are currently on the agenda. Does anyone have any public comment for items that are on the agenda? Okay, hearing none, we are going to move along to the approval of minutes from the May 8th, 2019 regular board meeting. A motion would be in order to approve these board minutes as proposed or amended. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll make a motion.
As proposed?
Yes.
Is there support?
I'll support it.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, motion by Voss, supported by LaFontaine, to approve the ordinance of May 8th, 2019 regular board meeting as proposed. All those in favor say aye.
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 Motion is carried. Okay, next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. On this evening's consent agenda, we have the building department report, the EMS report, which we did receive via email, office manager report, planning commission report, and any MC minutes. A motion is in order to approve the consent agenda items as presented, or should you want to remove one, please do so with your motion. Can I get a motion to that effect?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as it stands.
Is there support?
I'll support.
Is there any discussion? Hearing none, motion by LaFontaine, supported by Voss, to approve the consent agenda for the June 12, 2019 meeting as proposed. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. All right, next item on the agenda is the financial reports. First item under here is the approval of bills. Clerk LaFontaine has given us all. I'm sorry.
The roll call for the consent agenda.
I'm sorry. Okay, we're not going to do it tonight. We'll catch it next time. Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay. So we are in financial reports. Clerk LaFontaine has given us all the bills. Does anyone have any questions?
You got these two bills in here, one from the Macomb County Treasurer, City of Richmond.
That was what?
They say they're delinquent, or are they?
Yeah, Bob gave me the bills, so they're delinquent taxes on the drain.
Oh.
And I made them out, gave the Bob, and then Bob delivered them.
Okay.
So we got that.
Any other questions for Richard? Okay. The motion would be in order to approve and pay the bills as presented.
So moved.
Is there support?
I'll support.
Any further discussion at all? Hearing none, motion by Coleman, supported by Voss to approve and pay the bills for the June 12, 2019 board meeting as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Next item on the agenda is the treasurer's report. Treasurer Zalka is not here. Generally, what he will do is he will read the fund amounts into the minutes. In the general funds fire fund, there's $840,798.92. In the tax account fund, there's $15,828.21. Other accounts, $37,362.11. In the investment accounts, there's $373,494.42. And in the PDR account, there's $14,782.37 for a total of $1,282,266.03. It's usually at this time that I say if we have any questions, we can ask Bob. He is not here, but I'd be happy to write them down and email them if anyone has any questions. I'd be happy to let them know. There are no questions. The treasurer's report will stand as presented. Next item on the agenda is farmers' presentations. Bert?
Yeah, we have our meeting later this month. It's scheduled, but I don't know what we'll have. It depends on if there's any information. We schedule it, we figure it's easier to scan it than to do it out. So, other than that, there's nothing going on at this time. We haven't had meetings since then. But there is still going to be a cycle run this October, so we're preparing for that.
Does anyone have any questions or comments for Bert? I thought I saw we had discussed that Andrea was going to be helping you as well as Keith, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Still working forward from that.
Good. That's a good thing. I like to hear that. Okay, next is the building report. Jeff?
Yeah, actually a couple things to report on tonight. One, if they were here, I'd like to thank the crews that work, almost daily on keeping the lawn and property looking great. It's been a challenge for the years. It has been in our own yards in some cases, just because of all the water. So there are some areas you see where there's a little bit of tall grass out there. That's just areas we can't get on as yet, but they've done a good job of doing what they can given the poor weather conditions. At our budget meeting for the coming year, the township set aside funds for 2 projects to have AEW assist us with or work on. One of them is to discuss the bump in the entry drive of School Section Road and how we may be able to rebuild that in a way that doesn't jar your rollers loose when you pull in it. The other is to talk about signage for the building or in front of the building and the sign up by School Section Road and the repairs that are necessary to that. I have 3 proposed dates that AEW representatives can be here to meet with us on these. I talked to Chris about them before the meeting. I think he said he was available on all of them. I can send an email out tomorrow. Don't have to decide tonight. When the AEW representatives can be here at 4 o'clock on any of these 3 dates, it's July 1st, 2nd, or 3rd, so right before the holiday. And if those dates don't work, we can look at other dates. They were just the first, I told them to give me 3 dates, at their kind of earliest convenience. Once the new fiscal year started, they really started us out on the first 30 dates of the fiscal year. So if those dates don't work, like I said, I'll send out an email tomorrow. Due to open meetings issues, I understand we could probably have one other board member here for those meetings, and so I know we wanted Chris here because of the driveway discussions. And
I would like to attend.
2 others for this time. So if you and
If it's
Chris
okay,
want to be
unless anyone else wants
the
to
2
be
folks,
there.
then that's fine. And I don't know if you'll be in town those days, generally those days. It's fine.
I don't believe that we're going anywhere, and I can take my lunch at 3:30 and be here about 4 o'clock.
Got it. All right.
Is
So
that-
I'll just. Do you want to pick one of them tonight? I mean, since we're.
What days?
They're the first, 2nd, or 3rd of July. I didn't look at what days it was.
Or it falls on a Thursday.
So Monday,
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So
and Monday, Tuesday?
Either Monday or Tuesday?
You want to just start on Monday?
Sure.
Okay. So I will confirm with Jason, there'll be, Lyle will be the guy kind of working on the driveway issue, if you will. He's the civil engineer. Jason is the architect. He's the fellow that will do more with regards to, our thoughts about signage. If you have thoughts about that and what you kind of like things to look like, get that information to Cindy or Chris or I, and we'll share that with Jason. If you're driving somewhere and you saw a picture of something you really like, take it and, fire us off an email. I mean, that really helps those guys when they get it done. Just for the public's knowledge, this year, this year we did not put money aside to actually do this work. It'll be up to the board if they were deciding to do it throughout the year with a budget amendment, any of it. But the idea was, when we were going through the budget process, we didn't want to just throw a number at something when we didn't know in fact what it was going to cost. And so this will give us the opportunity to get, some design ideas and an engineering estimate, and that may be it for the year, with the ability then to budget the cost of those improvements in the next budget cycle. Lastly, and this is probably going to be, especially again due to weather, this may be something I've got to kind of we'll have to deal with on the last minute kind of thing. We were due in this current budget year, which ends in just a few weeks, to seal coat and restripe the front parking lot. I just got an email in the last 20 minutes here from the company doing that. They're looking at next Wednesday or next Friday. But if they do it Wednesday, we probably would recommend closing the township hall on Thursday to let them have one day to put seal coat down and then the next day to stripe, and not have people driving through the work that's been done. Or if we do it Friday, to be Friday or Saturday. As soon as I have, as soon as they can look at next week's weather, which may not be until Monday, the way things are going these days, I will certainly let the board know, and then you'll have to make some decisions about what you want to do, at that point in time with office hours and things like that. We'll also need, to have Lori or somebody reach out to the soccer folks. We're going to be canceling at the last minute, but I just don't envision another way to get this done. I mean, the soccer folks are there many nights a week and Saturdays, so there's really not a way to, unless we're just not going to do it, there's no way to work.
Yeah, I don't see a problem at all unless someone has one here. If they can do it Wednesday, we'll close Thursday, and as soon as we know, then we can put it on the website.
Yep.
And we can put that to work and then that, because we certainly don't want to mess that up.
Right. So as soon as we get confirmation from them, I mean, the minute I have it, I'll get an email out to all of you, and then you can start your processes. So we'll hope for just a couple dry days. I mean, that's really all. Like you said, that was a bit hard to come out right now.
Oh, boy.
So with that, I think that is it on building issues, unless the board should have any questions for me.
Anything else? Thanks, Jeff. Next item on the agenda is the assessor's report. Lisa has given us a report. It's fairly short this month. Is there anything anyone would like me to contact with her about? Pretty short to the point. Okay. Next item on the agenda is unfinished business. As as always, I try to just, actually what I do is when I'm getting the packet together, I go online, I Google current events with medical marijuana, I find a couple good articles and I send them your way. So, you know.
What Kroger's is going to start selling infused
Are you kidding?
Yeah, starting this weekend.
The CBD
Yeah.
oil.
I was gonna
Yeah, I
say
saw that was on the
this.
news. I think it was on, you know, I believe it was the news. I think it was on the news last night. Talking about they'll be selling the CBD oil. That's what's being sold in a couple more places in Richmond right now.
That's interesting. I did not see that. Okay. Another item that is not on the agenda, but I did mention in the supervisor's update is if anyone had any other updates on their goals and objectives that they want to tell us about now, that'd be great. If not, I mean, it looks like we're making some, doing some action in the parking lot sign, and I don't know, the intern started, and I hear she's doing wonderfully, has already made quite a few changes to the website, so I think we lucked out with her. Anybody have anything else though that they want me to update the list on? You've been pretty busy lately, so. Okay, that's all under unfinished business. So now we're going to move on to new business. And the first item on the agenda for new business is the approval of the proposed FY19-20 fire and EMS budget. A motion would be in order to approve.
I'll make that motion.
Is there support?
Support.
Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, motion by Lafayette, supported by DeVos to approve the Richmond Township FY19-20 fire and EMS budget as proposed. Can I get a roll call on that?
Sure. LaFontaine, aye. DeVos.
Aye.
Coleman.
Aye.
And Green.
Aye. Motion is carried. Next, we have the approval of the FOIA requirements. A motion would be in order to approve the FOIA requirements and changes to documents as proposed.
Make that motion?
Is there support?
Support.
In the memo that I forwarded to you, I did cover, there were some changes in December that were the effect of the Emily FOIA. The two major changes were that now if someone requests FOIA information, they do have to provide their legal name, the address that is approved by the United States Post Office, a solid email and a solid phone number, so we know who they are, how to get a hold of them. And they've also accommodated, for instance, Kathy with the Emily FOIA was requested for the documents. In my other world, I was not requested for the documents, but we have continued to hold on to 22,000 ballots, even though the retention schedule says we can get rid of them because the FOIA required us to keep it for a year. We could not. So now, after a clerk sends their estimate of fees to the requester, they are given 48 days instead of a year to respond to us, after which point that FOIA is considered abandoned. And if the retention schedule is up on the documents, we are allowed to destroy them. That's a very good thing for local clerks and local governments. The reason that the board has to approve these was when the law was passed, they said that those items had to be incorporated into the three documents that we would provide residents or whoever would be required for this. So, does the board have any questions on this?
New guidelines on the website that.
Yes, if these are approved as, then
Right.
everything will go on the website. Do you have any questions?
This, so we can do this all in one motion?
Yes, all in one motion. And we've already, made
Yeah.
a motion to do it, so, Chris,
You got like 3 different things here.
there are absolutely three documents, and you've been given all the documents with the new wording, and our attorney has reviewed them. She did have one comment on them, and that change was made, so.
It was made.
Yep, it was made. Lori made that check. Look, these are good for us. They're set, good to go. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'm going to take a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. All right. Next item on the agenda is the approval of the Metro Act right-of-way extension. A motion is in approve the extension and authorize the supervisor to sign the same.
I'll make the motion.
Is there support?
I'll support.
Okay, we received this, I believe, in March, and while the extension did request a 30-day turnaround time, we were in the midst of budgets and a lot of road complaints and a lot of other issues. We were working with our fire departments. So I did get a hold of the lady from AT&T and explained to her I was sorry. The permit itself does not expire until the end of August. She responded, gave us some basics covering that it's something that they're required to do. We could get a check for it. This is something we've done a couple of times already, but we are required to pass a motion to sign the resolution. Does anyone have any questions? Kevin?
No.
Hearing none, I'm going to take a vote then. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. All right, next item on the agenda is not really an action item, but we are going to hear from Joe Adair, who would like to come up to the podium. And she's going to be addressing us on some concerns with the cable, NEMC, and whatnot. So at this point, I'm just going to turn it over to you.
Okay, quick overview is our existing franchise, 20-year-old franchise that expired. When we negotiated the first one, that was exactly what it was. We negotiated it. Keith Ringard, Karen Holt, were very instrumental in negotiating the things that got them into the existing franchise that we have. But in 2006, prior to our consortium's expiration of our existing franchise, the state took over and put into law, Public Act 480, of the uniform video
Services.
first local franchise. That agreement changed completely from the first. There's really, any of you that looked at your franchise and you got your copies and went over it, there's really no negotiating in there at all. This is what you get.
Yes.
So there wasn't a lot of significant changes in it, just that there was really not a lot of participation on the local community's end. It was, this is what we're offering, this is what you're going to get if you object. We were given time frame to answer, and Bill was not passed over. Gave the work for their money, but didn't get it. So the franchise that we have now, the prior one, and a big difference was we all negotiated and did our franchises separately. This one is uniform, everyone was having the same thing. So the financial end of it has three components to it. The franchise fees, which are paid directly to the municipality, Richmond Township, Memphis, Armada, Casco, and London, based on 5% of the gross revenue in your community. That now is restricted by the state that it has to be uniform in that respect, and it can't be negotiated separately. So that's over all of that 5%. So the second component of it is the subscriber fee. And those are the payment fees that come from Comcast used to be to NEMC. And that's why representatives are actually present. You know, I am NEMC TV6 Executive Board Representative. I'm separate from Comcast, just the same as the franchise entities are. The subscriber fees in the past were configured and based on the number of subscribers paid to NEM on behalf of each of the community. For some reason, it's so expensive to write those extra checks and takes so much time. Comcast is refusing to do it in that method anymore. Tech fees are regulated by law. With public education and government entities regulate those fees and now they can't go into your funds. said, what is the community supposed to do now? She said, well, they'll have to send a check back to AMC.
Right.
Have to check for that amount. I said, is it spelled out specifically how much they would have? She said, oh, it's formula in there. So we should just have to double check and make sure that we're accepting that formula. I can't tell what came with what. Did I agree? But, okay. So that's going to be one of the most significant changes that you'll see, is that when you get your franchise fees, it will also include the pay fees. I would recommend that everybody on the consortium get in touch with their auditor, their accountant, to see how they want to do that. One suggestion was that we set up a separate bank account and make a deposit and split it with the subscriber fees into a separate bank account, but that's not practical either. Now you have to have a set of checks. It's going to be a cost to do that. So I reached out to our accountant. I don't have an answer back as to how to do that, but I will keep up with you if you get any information from your accountant on how that has to be regulated. I appreciate some information as well. But it has to be separate, and it comes back to AMC. So now our budget and our funds at the AMC board level will be evaluating for these checks coming from each of the five communities. So that's a big change that I think in the best respect for everybody involved. It's more work on the franchising entity, it's more work on the AMC board. The third component in the financial regulations from this are the subscriber fees that go back to AMC from each municipality, separate from the bank fees. Subscriber fees were that magic secret number that it took us 15 years to get actual. You've been billed way low for the last 15 years. So if we have inaccurate numbers, and when Comcast would control the franchise, they didn't have to give us those numbers. So we had the original ones from a previous representative that always gave our board meetings and everything, and then all of a sudden he's gone. Well, it changed from here, Philadelphia, and then Comcast. So when I went to Comcast, everything changed. So then we weren't competitive with numbers anymore. So we just continued to build on the original numbers. So we're not going to go back and rebuild and try to recoup everything. That's just insane. It's just what happened, and we'll deal with it. But going forward, we originally, I'm sure Chris started talking to you about, we were talking at the NMC level of increasing those subscriber rates. We were at 50 cents per subscriber, with the exception of Castle. Castle always gave a large donation back. And that's part of the concept of the franchise, is to support your local studio. So that's why they ask you to, of that franchise fees that you receive, that you contribute your share from your community back to the board. The peg fees help the studio with equipment and cost maintenance for that equipment and upgrades. The subscriber fees that we bill to you and pay back to us goes for production costs, rent, miscellaneous costs involved in putting together the video onto, now we have onto the actual channel 6 and to YouTube. So that's why that is there too. The intent of that in the original franchise was that each community would help support the local studio. So of that, this changes don't really take effect until third quarter of 2019. So in September, that's when everything changes. our board isn't going to do anything until that starts increasing the cost. But we're going to go try and recoup anything that we're on the bill because we paid that numbers. So, any questions?
I do a couple. You know, I think it might behoove all of us, the communities and the consortium, as well as you and whomever else you would like to bring to sit down at a meeting with us. I think that I feel personally it would probably be a good thing to draw up an agreement to reflect the changes in the franchise agreements. I know there have been a lot. I know when I talked to the woman from you know, she said to me, she had explained to me how they were going to change the payment method, that they were going to give us more money.
Yeah.
And I said, so basically we're writing down a check, right? And she said, yes. And I said, well, for how much money? And she said, well, you don't have to write a check at all. She said, but then you have to provide public access channel. I said, well, we're not going to do that. And she said, well, you really need to negotiate with them how much that check is going to be. I understand you got to raise in 20 years. That's not fair. That is totally unfair.
And Comcast did not relate to me to those options were there.
Yeah, and they also were super protective of their numbers. And I, you know, spoke with Mr. Room at a fire meeting, and I asked him where he got those numbers, and he just smiled and saw them. So, you know, I don't know, and I know you said they threw a bunch of money at you, and while I appreciate that, I just want to say that we don't have nearly the subscribers they do, and our, you know, not nearly as many of our residents get that service. So I certainly think personally, I understand you're going to need more money from us. We can't just throw a bunch of money at you, though. I'm sorry. You know, I think that's something, like I said, I think it would be good for everybody to get together and to sit down and certainly be reasonable about the fact that your costs have gone up and your money hasn't.
Right.
You know, you can't run a,
And we're not necessarily going to ask for any more money per se, only that the billing is based on the actual numbers of the actual subscribers that you have, the actual subscribers that are made in that.
Right.
So,
and as long as
increasing the fee.
I don't think anybody in the world would have a problem with that. You know, I would just like to see some black and white where those numbers came from. That's all. What?
Bill was such a pain in the ass. Here, go away.
And it very well could have been. He is definitely a persistent man. I will give him an A for effort on all of that. He is awesome. But like I said, like just for me personally, I would love to sit down with everybody and meet and certainly make this a more equitable agreement. And I would like to, I'd like to have a new agreement drawn up. I think, I don't know, any of the supervisors that right now, or even many of the board members that are serving now were here when all that happened.
No, I think
There are so many layers.
You were on the at that time.
I don't know.
I think you were.
I might have been.
You were the other one.
Yeah.
Because I always would see one first.
Yes.
I think I'm the only one that.
Yeah, so anyways, that would be like my hope that we could start working on that before the third quarter is done and at least make a big effort in that. So perhaps, unless the board is not in agreement with that, or how do you all feel about meeting and working on an agreement for the agreement?
I agree.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay.
I think it's so wonderful.
Okay, so we're clear though, it won't be a franchise agreement, it'll be.
No, it's a consortium
It'll be
agreement.
addendum.
It'll be a contract with the member, right? It is not, we have our franchise agreement with them.
Right.
But this would be an agreement between the communities and NEMC that provides that service for us.
Okay.
So I would, you know, maybe like to set something up either in later June, which we're in the middle of, or early July, if we could.
Okay.
So I'll talk to Chris and we'll get together and I'll maybe get a hold of the other supervisors and see if they'd like to do it. Are you willing to do that?
Oh,
And
absolutely.
maybe we can meet over at the studio. So
That would be fine, that was all in one spot.
I think that'd be a good idea. So,
Show you around.
yeah. Does anyone else have any questions?
No, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah.
I think it helps everybody involved.
Sure, we'll be on the same page. Clear
Exactly.
understanding.
Whenever all the information is clear, everybody's happy.
I write note, here's the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. I will write myself a note then tomorrow try to email everybody or call them and get a hold of them, and he has your phone number for us. Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you for coming out. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Okay, we are now at item E. And that is approval of the City of Richmond fire contract. So, the motion would be in order to approve the proposed fire contract of the City of Richmond, Richmond Township, and to authorize the supervisor to sign the same. Can I get a motion to that effect?
I'll make that motion.
Is there support?
Support.
At this time, I'm going to ask Chief Spence to come up. He's the chief of the Richmond Fire Department, and he was kind enough to come this evening. A couple of things I wanted to mention as we're reviewing this. We do have all 3 fire contracts this evening on our agenda for approval. The Richmond Fire Department did invite us to a couple of meetings to discuss any changes we might want to make to the contract. And I know one thing that was really important to me was to try to get a longer contract so that we would have some solid numbers going forward. They did accommodate that by offering us a 5-year contract, which I'm very much appreciative of. An increase that we are going to see every year will be in the equipment replacement fund. We truly, when I look at how much your new equipment is, and perhaps you can review some of that when you're speaking to us, you know, what we pay is pretty nominal, I feel. So on that, I'm just going to turn it over to you, and maybe if you have some comments you want to share with us, and then the board can ask questions.
Basically, my name is Curtis Spence. I'm the fire chief for the City of Richmond. As the city has said, the only changes are 5-year contract and the increase in the equipment acquisition fund. Basically, that fund is what purchases the new trucks when they come out. It's been quite a few years, probably in excess of 20 years since there's been any change to that fund. So that was something that we took to the townships. So over the 5 years, the first 2 years will remain at $12,500. The second 2 years will be $14,000, and the final year will be $15,000 for the equipment acquisition. That the township is part owner of all the equipment. Basically, right now, the latest purchase that we had was the ladder truck, which replaced the previous ladder we had that was totaled out in an accident 2 years ago. The cost of the new ladder was ballpark $700,000. There were some changes from the old type of ladder we had to the new ladder that we went to, so we can utilize this truck better and be able to use it more in a rural setting than we could use the previous ladder, which was primarily for a lot of city-related fires. So this one is actually going to be a primary truck on structure fires, where we'll be able to get the ladder in. We can set it up if we need it for ladder purposes. We can get it there before any other trucks. If we need it just as an engine for smaller fires, it's set up basically the same as our other engine, and it's got all the lines, and we can extinguish pretty much any fire. It does have a small tank due to having the ladder, but we've got the tanker that rolls right behind it, so we've got about 3,000 gallons rolling.
And I do know that during our meetings, he did bring up something that I know is kind of a cool thing, maybe not as serious, but like next year when we have a cleanup day or something, he did say if it was available, that we bring the truck out here. You know, anybody wanted to see it? If maybe some kids come out, they wanted to check it out.
If there's any events, let us know. We can bring the truck out. We'll look like a nice to be able to show off and see what they're getting for the money. Or you guys are more than welcome at any point in time to come up to the hall.
Been through it, it's pretty cool.
Our guys there at 7:30 going through their truck checks. If you want to set up a special
guys?
No.
Oh, that guy.
Everybody else can ask,
Yeah,
but
I
not
guess
Kathy.
I'm gonna talk to Marcos now.
Oh.
If you ever you are doing a house, you know how you guys have the practice
Trains.
trainings?
House, yeah.
Right. Would you let me know, because we have a problem with our bailiffs. There's one shred day that we'd like to put those in the house ready to burn.
There you go.
I
Something
told-
set up, we'll let you know.
Okay, I had asked Tommy, but there was nothing, there's never.
Yeah, we don't get
I know you
anything
don't
set up
have
right
that.
now. There's a lot of conflicts with homeowners and having to do the asbestos testing and things like that. So the amount of live burns is actually going down from what it used to be.
Keep us in mind if you come across it.
We'll keep that going.
Thanks.
Are there any other questions for Chief Spencer? Okay, hearing none, motion by Von Fontaine, supported by Coleman, to approve the fire contract between the city of Richmond and Richmond Township for fire coverage for the years 7/1/2019 through 6/30/2024, and authorize the supervisor to sign the same on behalf of the township. All those in favor say aye. Motion is carried. Thank you for coming tonight, I really appreciate it. Thanks so much. And thanks for being so easy to work with. All right, next item on the agenda is the approval of the Armada Township Fire Department, or fire contract. The motion is in order to approve the contract for fire services between Armada Township and Richmond Township for a period covering June 12, 2019 through June 30, 2020, at a cost of $30,000, and authorize the clerk and supervisor to sign the same. Motion.
Make a motion.
Is there support?
I'll support it.
Is there any further discussion? Does the board have any comments or concerns with this? Bert? You good?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Kathy?
I'm okay.
Chris?
Good.
Okay, at this point, I'm just going to take a vote. All those in favor say aye. Motion is carried. Okay, we are now on to the approval of the Memphis fire contract. The motion would be in order to approve the contract with the city of Memphis for fire coverage in the amount of $26,307 for FY 2019 to 2020, and to authorize the supervisor to sign the same on behalf of the township. Can I get a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Is there support?
Support.
Is there any discussion? I just wanted to mention that the fire chief did indeed respond pretty quickly to my request. He apologized it took him so long to get us the figure out. If there's no further discussion, I'm going to take a vote on the motion. All those in favor say aye. Motion is carried. Okay, we are now on the approval of the Memphis School Summer Tax Collection. A motion would be in order to approve Richmond Township Treasurer collecting the summer 2019 taxes for the Memphis Community Schools at a per parcel rate of $2.50.
I'll make that motion.
Is there support?
Support.
Treasurer Zalka, after the last meeting, a few days after the last meeting, sent me an email. He had had a request from the superintendent for the Memphis tax collection for summer taxes. They had not met the required deadline to request this from him. At that point, Bob had asked our attorney if we were required to do this, if we could still do this. Basically, she said yes, and because they came in late, so to speak, he was allowed to negotiate a per parcel rate. So instead of $1.50 per parcel, which is what we're getting from everyone else, we're getting $2.50. That is what they're getting Riley Township. Does the board have any comments?
So just to be clear, the charge of Memphis school taxpayers is an extra $1 because of their make sure I understood that.
That's it. Yep. Have they gotten their request into Bob on time, and we approved it in the time timely fashion. It would have been under the contract that they agreed to. And I feel, although I can't speak for Bob, I'm guessing that he checked to see what Riley Township was getting paid, and Riley was getting $250, so that is what they charge. Okay? Kathy? Good. Bert? All right, motion by LaFontaine, supported by Coleman to approve the Richmond Township Treasurer collecting the summer 2019 taxes for the Memphis Community Schools at a per parcel rate of $250. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion is carried. All right, we're getting there, guys. We are now down to the approval of smart municipal credits and community credit. So a motion would be in order to approve and adopt the Richmond Township Resolution 2019-8, which will approve the automatic transfer of smart municipal credits from Richmond Township to Richmond Municipal. Can I get a motion for that? Is there support? Support. Jeff, do you have any comments on this one at all?
Yeah, I will be very brief, but it's worthwhile to hear. So everybody's pretty familiar with what we do with the transit funds and operating those buses here in the community. I'd just like to, for the record, indicate that we are making an expansion to the service that began on June the 1st with regard to the small buses, and that is one time daily. We are offering transportation to the Detroit Metro Airport with the buses. So if somebody has got a vacation, business trip, or other travel need, they can contact their office, arrange if they're, like I said, the first come, first served basis. They can arrange to schedule transportation for them and their party to go to the airport, and then arrange a time to be returned home to the airport once they get back to Detroit. The rationale behind offering this service to our residents and the residents that are within kind of our catchment area for our community transit service is simple. We feel like we've done a really good job locally of providing service for our seniors, disabled, and others who need transit services. But most of those people using that tend to be our seniors and older folks. And you know, we have a lot of younger people in our community that really are seeing limited benefit from the bill that they pay to SMART that recently got approved. And so we wanted to come up with a service that could benefit young people, families, and others that might, like I said, it might be very, very helpful. This way a person would not have to park their car at the airport, pay for parking, for storage, you know, their vehicle while they're away, or worry about it while it's gone. And so far we have provided half a dozen trips or so already. And all of the trips, I can tell you to this point in time, have gone very well. A couple of caveats to our trips. One is we require that people allow us to pick them up 4 hours ahead of their flight. We begin with our first pickup at 5 a.m. and our last pickup at 7 p.m. So you have to arrange your flight times accordingly. We pick that 4-hour time frame simply because for anybody who's driven I-94 anytime recently, you know that is probably one of the most unpredictable highways in southeast Michigan. Everything from construction to accidents can cause significant delays in your travel, and what we don't want you to do is arrive and see the tail of your jet leaving the runway and miss your trip because we didn't pick you up on time. So it's a 4-hour, no exception kind of rule for taking you out of the airport. When you arrive back, you'll have a one-call number, a one-phone number that you will simply be provided when you schedule your transportation. You'll call that number when you pick up your luggage and are exiting the airport. The bus will pull out of the cell phone parking area and be right there to pick you up and bring you back here to Richmond. The phone number for the service is the same as our regular number for transit. We have a 1-800 or a toll-free number for that now. It's actually not 800, but it's a toll-free number for all of our transit service. That's 666-5652. It's important for me to note because, thanks to our local cable access, this gets out on the internet and other places, that this service is being provided by Richmond Lennox EMS through those funds provided by services that use our community transit. That's really important for people to understand. It can't be used for people in St. Clair County. St. Clair County for this don't pay funds into that smart village. And it cannot be used by somebody that, for instance, lives in Romeo, because Romeo has a different service, and it's a really good service, but a different service that works through smart, and they might not be offering. So in other words, my point of saying this is not a smart bus initiative. This is a Richmond Lennox initiative. It's not costing the public any more money than what they're already paying. We have requested an increase from SMART. We're doing this within our current budget. We're just spending our funds a little differently to be able to provide this service. So it's pretty exciting. It's been very well received so far. We expect to be booked nearly every day. So I would suggest that folks that want to make a reservation on the service call up or call early. So with that, that's all I have to report.
Repeat that number, sir?
Sure. It is 844-666-5652. And I did send, we've updated our one-page kind of smart transit flyer for the community. And I sent that on to Chris and to have that updated. On
Just had it. I was just wondering if we get it.
So yeah, I sent her yesterday, so it should be going up very, very soon.
Thank you. That really sounds cool, actually.
Yeah, we think it would be, like I said, people pay a lot of money for that service, and we just want to bring something back that we hope will be useful to journalists.
Cool. Any questions at all? Okay, if there's no more comment, then we had a motion by Coleman, supported by Laffontaine, to approve and adopt the Richmond Township Resolution 2019-08, which will approve the automatic transfer of smart municipal credits for Richmond Township to the Richmond Lennox EMS. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. Last item on the regular agenda is the reappointment of planning commission members Mackley, Goop, and Yake. Motion is in order to approve the reappointment of Jonathan Yake, Christine Goop, and Thomas Mackley to the Richmond Township Planning Commission with terms to expire July 17, 2022. Can I get a motion for that, please?
Make that motion.
Is there support?
Fourth.
Lori is always good and reminds me when our boards and commission roster looks like we have something we need to address. Generally, we would have waited for July, but since we're not holding a regular meeting in July, she was good enough to remind me to do this in June. I did talk to Jonathan and Chris Goot, and I couldn't get a hold of Mr. Mackley, but Lori did finally get a hold of him. All of them are very happy to be reappointed, and thank you for the opportunity. Vern, you probably have to know more about their service than the rest of us. I think they're all good members.
Yeah.
Yep, and I did mention to them that they would need to be sworn in. Good, that'll be good. Does the board have any comments or questions on this? Okay, hearing none, motion by DeVos, supported by Clone, to approve the reappointment of Jonathan Yake, Christine Duke, and Thomas Mackley to the Richmond Township Planning Commission with terms to expire July 17, 2022. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried. That's it for our regular agenda. At this point, we discuss items for next agenda. Remember, our next regular meeting is not until August. So, I cannot think of anything at this point. Perhaps we'll have some discussion on the meeting regarding the sign, and the approach. I don't think it will be anything that will require action.
The new start time.
Oh, yeah, and yes, remember, the new start time in August is 7 p.m.
That's an NEMC news at that point.
Okay.
I imagine, and could run something we don't at that point.
We're going to go call to the board. I'm going to start with you, Chris, since Vern is excused just for a moment. Do you have anything that you'd like to share?
I do not at this point.
Kathy?
I did contact the clerk, well, she's going to get back to me from Chesney on those signs. Cool. Yeah, we'll see what they, who knows? You never know, right?
Right, I know, Jeff, like you said, I mean, if we could get a picture of something before the meeting on July 1st, I mean, right, with a sign?
Yeah, sure. If you got photos, or you got another community whose sign you've seen, the church, anything, it'll just give Jason's really very good, but if you give him an idea what you're looking for, he'll do his best to work with that.
Or do you have anything you'd like to share?
Just that we did deliver the ice street to the EMS, and once again, Kroger's did provide us with quite a savings on what's in from the EMS, so
Nice.
so it worked out good. I had 3 boxes left, so I left them here for the girls.
Good.
I don't know.
Look at Lori smile. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So I just wanted to let everybody know.
Okay.
Thanks, man.
Oh, we owe you
Yeah, we owe you money,
Yeah.
$100 each, right?
right? Yeah. We're paying money for the ice cream.
$9
Cool.
for 5 nights.
That's perfect. Anything else?
No.
Okay, I did want to mention, we've had numerous complaints about our roads. Kathy and I are planning on meeting Monday morning at the road commission, and just so everybody's aware, I've invited Lyle Wynn to be down there with us in case they were speaking some jargon that I have no idea what they do. Just so you know. So I think that is it for the call to the board. Next item on the agenda is general public comment. This is for public comment on items that were not on the agenda. If you want to come up to the podium, please.
My name is Steve Murphy. I have been a Richmond taxpayer since 1994. I am part of the community. I was very upset about the board, and this is the third increase on their salary since 2000, or since the election. I asked how much it cost, and I got an email saying like $5,100 just for this year alone. So if you go back 3 years, I've been like $15,000 for the last 3 years. I was talking to a city board for the board for the city of Richmond, and the Richmond City Council has not voted on a raise for the board of the city council and mayor since the city charter was adopted in 1966. And Richmond became a city. Board members are not in it for the money, but rather to serve the community. The city council gets a total of $100 per month when they attend. And also they said, like all municipalities, this is an opportunity for citizens to voice their concerns, which I did. And the resolution that you folks voted on, this is in today's stuff. Motion by Duval, supported by LaFontaine to approve the resolution. So they just went forward in it, and they didn't consider, my viewpoint, they did not consider the taxpayer of Richmond Township and what it cost us. The FOIA I got was in like 2003 with $15,000. This year it went up like $25,000. So every year you add, just keep adding and adding and adding. And we have to pay the taxes, or the state of Michigan will take my house away. They got 2 years to. And one more item, you said, I've been told, you can't engage anybody at the public meeting. Last meeting, you engaged a couple about their roads, which I thought was out of character. You should not have done that. Probably what you tell me, that you can't engage me when I talk about the public comment. That's all I have to say.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, let me start this by saying I'm this is why I'm the author of this. The last few years, there have been a number of social media posts written, authored by one person, and 90% of them are about three things: taxes, wages, and your board table. So I thought, what's the amount of money that I pay every year for Richmond Township? So the first thing I did was got my tax bill out. First time I actually looked at it. I usually just look at the bottom line and write my check. Go on. There's a lot of stuff on there. But I was interested in solely in the Richmond Township portion of it. Not the garbage, not the fire and EMS and the zoo and the library and all that stuff. I was interested in one thing. What does it cost to run this building? Wages, insurance, coffee cups, everything. What does it cost us? Well, it cost me last year $94.45. I don't know if that's good or bad. I don't consider it bad. So I looked over the last 5 years, from 2014 to 2018, and my taxes over that time for this fund went up $3.20. That's pretty reasonable. So then I FOIA'd the author of these social media posts and taxes, which I paid for with my check number 2423. And I went back to 2002, and I FOIA'd his taxes from 2002 to 2018, 17 years. And it shows that amount of time, because that's the comparison of the salaries that's used in these posts. Something very interesting. His taxes have went down $12.25 in those 17 years. So I say if your taxes are going up, it's not because of the way the township here is being run. You need to look at your tax bill and determine that it's a number of other things that go into that. Having said that, the board table, there seems to be a little bit of misunderstanding. The board table, it says in these posts that the board table was deemed, meaning the old board table was fine, nothing wrong with it, and it was safe. I was at that meeting. That's not the way it went. I remember Director White, I'm sorry to drag you into this, Jeff. Director White, if I remember right, said the board table would be sufficient if it was never moved. And then he said, but because of the table is moved numerous times a year, a number of things, elections and stuff, because of that, the board table is not safe. So you guys did the right thing. Your table looks beautiful. Yeah, we can't have unsafe things in the township. That leads to bad things down the road. I think my 3 minutes are up. I wish you all a good night.
Thank you. Is there any other public comment? Any other general public comment?
Hi, real briefly. I just want to know while he's in the room this time. One of the areas where I think we serve to save the township some dollars is I don't know anywhere else this is done, frankly. Our EMS employees, when they are not on runs, I think it'd be enough if they just wait and get some downtime between runs. And that's the way most other agencies run. For as many years as I've been here, we took, because we're in this building too, we took considerable pride in the facility, and no thanks at all to me, but in fact thanks to Denny Spence, who's here with us tonight, and his staff out of this building. The property is really kept up and looking very, very nice, and we pay nothing additional that we would already be paying for that to occur other than the upkeep and equipment. So there's EMS compensated for cutting the lawns and weeding the flower beds, and nor do we ask them to be. My point is, those are the things that we kind of look at as a community. We think that's our contribution back to you for the support that the board provides us and the facility that the board provides us. And I just can't thank Keith and his folks enough, for the countless hours that you put in keeping, keeping this property really spectacular, and again, costing our taxpayers zero for that, as far as labor goes. So, Denny, thank everybody for me.
We tried to thank you for that, and I believe we got the comment, oh, it's not good right now. It is not good right now.
It's not,
Well,
I just know
we
how bad it's
appreciate
been,
it.
because I know what a challenging spring it's been for them.
Oh, I know.
They're all feeling a little beat up by the weather, not being able to do all the things I'd like to do.
But I hope that they know we do appreciate it.
The township.
Oh, it's pretty bad right now. Okay, if there's nothing else, a motion is in order to adjourn.
Make a motion?
Here's support.
For
Motion by Wells, supported by Cohen, to adjourn the meeting at 8:37. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion is carried. Thank you.